Okay, good afternoon, everyone. When you watch this, it will be Tuesday, July the 7th. I certainly hope you had a wonderful July 4th. It certainly was hot, but I know I was here as your MOD, manager on duty, and I know it was a beautiful day here at the shores. We'll start like we usually do, and I'll ask Steve if he has a prayer or something from the voice.
Thank you, Lynn. Let's pray. God, we don't like what is happening in our world. We don't like that the virus is spreading and that those who make the decisions seem to often have to reverse themselves or confuse us or make us wonder whether they know what they're doing. We don't like the fact that it's had some more possible problems here in our Westminster communities. Despite everything that is being done, we are anxious and we are concerned. And we know that the answers can't always be clear because people keep trying to figure out what will work. But we pray you will give us patience and trust in each other and courage to face the future. We pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Well, boys, how are you today? I'm not sure how I am. How should I be? Well, I think that it's a difficult time, but we need to keep contact with each other. You could call some people that are in this community and just talk to them on the phone. It might be good. I wouldn't know what to say. Can you show me? Well, I'll tell you what. Lynn and I'll do it just for a little bit. Let's just pretend I have a phone and I'm just calling somebody that I don't know very well, but is a resident of Westminster, here in the shores. Hello, Lynn. How are you?
Well, I'm okay, Steve. Considering there's a pandemic, I'm okay.
Well, the pandemic has interfered with my desire to get to know people in here as we build community. I would like to just take a few minutes to get to know you a little bit. Where did you come from to come here?
Well, to come here to the shores, I came from Orlando.
Okay.
I had the wonderful opportunity to serve the Westminster Towers in Orlando for 2 years. Before that, coming from Pennsylvania and Chicago and Boston, but mostly Pennsylvania. But the opportunity came for the shores, and I thought, what a beautiful place. How could I say no to coming to the shores?
That's one of the reasons we came, too. What type of family do you have, and are they around here, or where are they?
Well, I have 2 daughters. The one is with me in Parrish. The other is outside of Orlando. She works at Disney and just went back to work at Disney yesterday. So that's a good thing. I also have 2 sisters nearby, nieces, nephews. My brother lives over on the West Coast and up in Delaware, so we're mostly in Florida.
And mostly in touch with each other.
Mostly in touch with each other.
I think that's very important. Now, folks, what I'm trying to model with Lynn is what I think you should do with a bunch of residents that you don't know very well. Let's build an awareness. And as you ask about family and where you've been and so on, here's a way to conclude this. Lynn, when this pandemic gets over, it will get over, what is one fun thing you'd just like to go out and do just to celebrate?
I would really like to go to the beach or to a nice restaurant nearby that I haven't been able to go and sit with my friends or family and just spend some social time together.
That's the type of thing I would encourage you to do with at least 5 people between now and a week from Tuesday. People you don't know very well, but you get to know, because we need to build this connection even while we're separated. I think that's a good idea. Would you help me do that? Yeah, I'll try to help you. Okay, Lynn, you can take it from here.
Thank you, voice. Well, usually we start these calls by me telling you the statistics. And I'm going to first show you a graph that I have that shows where the United States is, where Europe is, Canada, and Japan. So I want you to take a close-up of this. And you can see this red line all the way up here is the United States. There's a line that's basically flat. That's Japan. And then we also have the up and down of Europe and Canada. But you see they're coming down and the United States is going up. It's not encouraging, is it? It's a concern for all of us. Florida is now reporting more than 10,000 positive cases a day. That's an alarming number. And that number continues to grow every day. In the last 4 days, Florida went from 169 positive cases to more than 206,000 positive cases. We are known, if you've seen the television, we are known as one of the hot spots, and probably one of the more problematic hot spots there are in the country. Our deaths in Florida continue at about 25 people per day die here in Florida. Again, another concerning number. Westminster Communities of Florida is not exempt from this at all. Positive cases of COVID-19 have come to all of our communities, all of our continuing care retirement communities. It has not touched all of our rental retirement communities, but all 10 of our continuing care retirement communities have been touched by COVID. Some is residents, some is staff, and some is both. Here at the Shores, we had one staff member who was immediately quarantined, and that person has decided that she's not going to come back to the Shores. And we wish her wellness and health. We had one resident who went to the hospital and was diagnosed with positive COVID-19 in the hospital. She was not symptomatic at all while she was here. We didn't know that she had COVID-19 until we heard from the hospital, and that resident has passed away. We also have 2 residents who are quarantining completely by themselves, and they are still positive, although we are waiting for test results to come back, and hopefully those test results will be negative. That's all we have on our campus. Our staff is being very careful and going about their business in the most careful way, and we hope that continues. Our staff today, Monday, even though you're watching this on Tuesday, between today and tomorrow morning, we are testing all of our staff members, as well as the Westminster home care staff members. It is now required by the governor, by ACA, which is our regulatory agency, and by the Department of Health in Florida, that we test our staff every 2 weeks. So our staff will be tested to check on their status for COVID every 2 weeks. I imagine that when we get these test results back, we might have another staff member or 2. I pray that we don't. But knowing how people are out there and not intentionally trying to gather in large groups without precautions, but sometimes it's just a family member that passes it on to someone. We just are praying that it isn't our staff members. But we will be tested every 2 weeks, and as I get those results, I will share them with you on Town Hall. Suncoast, there is one independent living resident who is tested positive for COVID and is in the hospital currently. There were 15 residents in the health center on one wing that tested positive. Results have come back for 14 of those residents, and they are all negative now, which is wonderful news. They are still waiting for one test result to come back. But to have 14 of the 15 negative really shows diligence on their staff, not only the nursing staff, but the housekeeping staff, and everybody being vigilant about the cleanliness and the care of the residents there in Suncoast. They have a transitional care unit which when residents come from the hospital, they go for 14 days in their transitional care unit. Whether they've had a COVID experience or not, they live in that transitional care unit for 14 days to make sure that even if they're asymptomatic, that they will then move off that unit without COVID. So there is no residents in their transitional care unit that have positive COVID, and there has been no more spread of COVID in the health center at Suncoast. It's a very big relief for those of us who rely on Suncoast as our rehab center and our center for skilled care. The Palms had 2 staff in their assisted living about 2 weeks ago test positive. They still are in quarantine and waiting for their results. Bradenton, Point Pleasant, and Bradenton Manor both have experienced some positive cases between residents and staff, but again are working hard to contain any spread that there might be. Hurricane evacuation seems to be a pretty hot topic from what I'm understanding. I'm hearing from a number of people that independent living residents are very concerned about this. I'm concerned about it too. This is certainly not a typical year. Because of the precautions that are required of us, the masking and the social distancing of 6 feet or more, it's a challenge, first of all, to have people together at a point of evacuation. It'll be a challenge, first of all, to even transport people to an evacuation site, knowing that we have to have more than 6 feet of separation. Before, we would fill up a bus and take everyone away. We can't do that now because of the precaution of greater than 6 feet distance between people. So transportation to get to an evacuation site is a challenge. Even when we are at an evacuation site, we now must have our beds, our dining experience, all at greater than 6 feet distance. This is going to be a very challenging year if indeed we have to evacuate. I ask for your prayers that we do not have to evacuate. That would certainly help us in this year of COVID-19. But because of all these precautions, we have asked independent living residents to find their own evacuation. I know that is causing some worriment for some of you, and I wish I had an answer right now. All I can say is right now, I understand there are some issues. I don't have answers. Eva has put together a list of hotels. It's been out for several weeks across from the in-house mailboxes by the salon. There are lists of hotels, not right here, but in an area in St. Pete, which is considered a no evacuation zone. You can certainly call them. She has phone numbers and addresses and names of those hotels, if that will help you and give you some more peace of mind. We are required, just because of our license, we have a license on this campus to care for assisted living residents. That's regulated by ACA, our state regulation agency, and we are required to take assisted living residents. Beyond that, I don't have an answer of how I could take any independent living residents. Please know that I know the concern is real, and I don't want you to worry, but I truly don't have an answer at this point. I would recommend highly you talk to other independent living residents and go together if you can. Call the hotels that are on the list that Eva has out and see what you can do to make arrangements, and we will do our best if there is any chance that we could take anyone with us. In your mailboxes up on Bahama Place second floor, our in-house mailboxes, excuse me, I did put, I'm sorry, I did put a notice. I've heard from a number of residents that they prefer not to come to Bahama Place second floor. They're concerned about all the people that come up here to go to the country store or to go to pick up their meals or to come and get their mail or whatever. They just are not comfortable coming to Bahama Place because there's so many other people that come here. They've asked how they could not, if there's a way, to not receive their mail. Well, I put something in your mailboxes asking if you would prefer to receive notices and memos from me or other departments or calendars or even the bingo cards that are out right now, if indeed there's a way to receive them. If you would like to receive those kind of things on My W Life, please let us know. I don't have the perfect system figured out yet, but this is just an attempt to find out how many of our residents would like to use My W Life for notices and information like that. So we will work on this together. Again, I do not have the perfect solution yet, and I know people offer solutions, and I appreciate that. I know My W Life may not be the perfect vehicle at this point because there's some information out there on My W Life that is old, it isn't current. There's other pieces that you would like to see that we haven't been able to implement yet. So it's not the perfect vehicle, but we're trying to be more green. We're trying to have people not have to come up to Bahama Place second floor if they don't have to. And we're trying to work on a system. So I'll give you more information when I have that. Swimming and the wood shop. If you use the pool or you enjoy the wood shop, and I know the wood shop is pretty busy sometimes, and I know that there are people who enjoy being in the pool, both of those areas require that residents sign a waiver that they understand the rules and how they have to go about using those two amenities on the campus, the wood shop and indeed the swimming pool. If indeed you use either of those and you have not signed a waiver that you understand what the rules are, please, for the swimming pool, see Lee. And for the wood shop, please see Eva in administration so that we can get those recorded in your file. Talking about the swimming pool, I know last week on this town hall, I read the rules, and I know the rules are posted as well. And the rules are right now that we're allowing 2 people in the pool at a time. And already I've heard that there's 3 people in the pool, and one time there was 4 people in the pool. So if indeed people aren't watching town hall and they don't see the rules posted, please remind them if you see them in the pool. This is your community as well as mine, and we need to help each other understand what the rules are. So I would appreciate your help if you see someone who maybe does not understand that there's only 2 people supposed to be in the pool. Likewise, for everyone's health, one of the requirements is that we shower before we get in the pool. I know I mentioned this before on a town hall. It would help all of us if everyone obeys the rules and takes a shower before they get in. Okay, that's, I think, enough on the swimming pool. Our next nighttime cement pour for Sunrise Point. And I know when I was manager on duty on Saturday, part of my manager on duty duties are to get in one of the trams and ride everywhere on campus and see things that I think are unusual or shouldn't be. And I make notes and I send those to my managers to try to correct situations. Indeed, on Saturday when I was out on the point in the tram, marveling at how tall Sunrise Point is becoming. And there was a nighttime pour last night, and there will be another nighttime pour Thursday night into Friday morning, the 9th into the 10th. This time, you may hear trucks coming down 56th Avenue South already at around 1:45 a.m. or 2 a.m. Usually they start their work closer to 3 a.m., but they're pushing it forward this time at 1:45 to 2 a.m. Thursday night into Friday morning. So just for your information, there's another nighttime pour coming. The projects that are ongoing on our campus right now, we are still awaiting St. Pete's approval of our permit to do something about the pool equipment noise. It's already been designed, it's already been manufactured and ready to put in place, but we don't have the permits. So as soon as we get the permits, it shouldn't take that long to put that in place. Right now, just so you know, the pool heaters aren't even running. The sun is doing a great job of heating our pool. It's up above 90 degrees plus, and we can thank the sun for that. So there aren't even, the heaters for the pool aren't even running. So there should not be a lot of noise out there. The next thing we're working on is the dock. We are waiting for some supplies to arrive at the contractors. The dock repair will include the railings, the handrails on both sides as you go out, as well as the walkway surface. If you've been out there lately, you can see it's the weather has certainly taken its toll on the dock. So for safety purposes, we will be replacing those railings and repairing them and doing the same with the walkway surface. So when I know more information about when they will start, I will gladly share it with you. And we are also waiting for permits to come for the Allen Building. The Allen Building has certainly seen its share of projects this year, but this one is for safety purposes. There is not a fire alarm panel in the Allen Building, and there will be one installed, and there will be some work done in individual rooms to make sure that that fire panel can send the alert to the fire department in case of a fire. We don't know when those permits will be in hand, so don't have a date yet when that will happen. Okay, and that's the projects. Also, I put in your boxes this weekend just a memo of all kinds of different things. If you didn't see that memo, the first thing on there was in red letters the word caution. If you shop at the 54th Avenue South Publix, we've been alerted that there has been an outbreak of COVID-19 with their employees. So please, I'm sure they are taking all precautions to clean and make it safe to shop there, but be very careful if that's the grocery store that you go out to. Also, there on that memo, there was information that we will be closing down the seawall, part of the seawall, starting tomorrow. And it's only the part surrounding the Sunrise Point area. You certainly will be able to walk the areas behind Bay Breeze and Little Bayou and Bahama Place, and the other side where you can go by Baynard and Underwood Assisted Living and the villas all the way out to the Allen Building. You will certainly be able to enjoy walking on those areas, and then you'll just have to skirt inside of our property and then go back out along Bay Breeze. But it's just the area along Sunrise Point construction that will be closed probably until the end of August, early September, depending on the rainy season, I suppose. Also on that memo, I mentioned that later this week, you will be having the choice of what you'd like to receive in your meal. Indeed, there will be a menu sent out to you. You will be choosing your entree, your sides, your desserts, and so everybody, for one meal a day, you will get the choices. If you have 2 meals a day coming to your apartment or your villa or your house, that second meal will be the chef's choice meal of the day, and there won't be any choice on that one. So just so that you know, I think something went in the mailboxes as well this weekend. I saw the dining staff on Saturday putting information in your boxes about this new program. We were feeling not great that we had to close down the dining room, and we really wanted to go back to giving residents some kind of choice for their meals. So that's what's going to be happening later this week. So watch for that as well. Many residents are asking about the salon. I know it's an essential service, and we learned that through all of us growing our hair longer, and those of us who like to cover our gray, had a lot of snow on our roofs, and indeed we will be anxious to open the salon. Not quite safe and out of the woods with our COVID on the campus. When that happens, we will be gladly opening the salon for everyone. So stay tuned for that. The staff in there, Jennifer and Mari, did a great job in cleaning and making sure everything was safe for you. And we want to be able to use that again soon. I just don't have a date yet, so stay tuned for that as well. And we have new hours for the corner store. The corner store is now going to be open from 12 to 3 every day instead of 1 to 4. So keep that in mind when you come over and you use the pop-up store that's now available from 2 to 3, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that the corner store is also open from 12 to 3 every day.
Is it the pop-up, is it 2 to 3 or 2 to 4?
It's 2 to 3 now.
2 to 3.
They didn't have much business between 3 to 4.
I thought I read the memo and I was wrong.
Yep.
Go ahead.
2 to
Just
3.
clarify it.
And maybe I did. Oh, I hope I didn't write that, but I could have. So now I have some questions. Regarding the pool, what is the recent electrical work being done? Actually, they were running some cable that had to go out to a pole because some security cameras that are being placed up there. The security cameras will be visual to the areas of the walkway, the seawall walk, and the dock. I know some people are concerned that it's going to be looking into their residence. No, it isn't. It won't. First of all, the camera isn't quite that strong. But second, it will not be pointed at the residence. It's going to be pointed at the pool, the dock, and the walkway, the seawall walkway. This was a question about the MyW Life and the choice of having paper mail versus electronic notifications and memos and things. Like I said before, it's not a perfect system. We don't have all the answers for that yet, but we are working on that. So that's why that was in the memo that came out the other day. But always good suggestions from residents. Is the entire seawall walkway to be closed or just part of it? And like I explained, it's the part just around the Sunrise Point construction. This is another one. The security camera was recently installed on a light pole on the seawall. Why? Why? Because we have a lot of people who think that they can walk our seawall, that we are really part of the city and we are really private property. You can certainly walk it, and if you see someone that is not part of the shores, you can tell them that it is private property, and if they don't leave, you can call security or call our maintenance staff or call the front desk, and we'll send somebody out to ask them to please move along because it is our private property. And it will not show into the buildings, like I said. Can we expect a credit or rebate for services not received or not available due to COVID-19 shutdown? Is there an amount, and when would we receive it? I have not heard any talk of a credit. You have to understand, the largest part of the budget for the shores is our staff, their hourly wages as well as their benefits. We've been really lucky that Westminster did not lay off or furlough any of our staff. Our staff are all employed here, all working regular hours, and are receiving their benefits. As far as different amenities, yes, indeed, we did change the meal delivery service, but that was to protect you. We did shut down the transportation service. Yes, we did, but that was to protect you and our staff. So, yeah, there have been changes, but believe me, with all the additional expenses that we had because of COVID-19, there is no savings at Westminster Shores. And as far as I know, I have not heard of any kind of credit that would be coming back to you because of the shutdown. I'm sorry to say that, but the pandemic has been very costly. Here's a question that came to me about the salons and how can we did a great job in safely opening it because Mari and Jennifer did a great job. But because of the COVID that existed on our campus, we felt at the time it was the right thing to do to close it for a while. I just saw Jennifer again today, and we are working on a date. We just want to be COVID-free before we go forward with that. And then another question was about independent living and evacuation for the hurricane. And unfortunately, I don't have the answers for that yet. We talked about that a little bit earlier in this town hall. Again, I don't want people worrying. I want you to make plans, but I don't want you to be all worried about this. If there's anything that we can do, we certainly will do it. Please know that the other Westminster communities have asked their independent living residents to evacuate. Hello, everyone, again. I am finding out that we had a little technical difficulty. Our recording device pooped out on us. So I believe I answered all the questions either when it was time for questions or earlier when I was just going through my comments. And before signing off, I was going to ask Steve if he had any other information to share.
And I wanted to speak to an issue that you have raised in terms of the care of our staff and employees, especially when they're being quarantined for a period of time for our safety and for their safety. And the way that the Westminster communities have dealt with that, in addition to the normal benefits people get, is what's called the Mercy Fund. The Mercy Fund, I don't know how long ago, but not long ago, you asked people to contribute to the Mercy Fund, and we got a really good response from residents. But I want to tell you that of the, I think there are 3,000 employees across the whole thing, 82 people right now are drawing upon that Mercy Fund because what it does is it supplements when they have to be away from work and helps them pay their rent and helps them get their medicine and so on. And so that Mercy Fund, even though it was built up quite well because of your contribution, almost 60% of it has been sent or spent or designated within the last, by the last time I heard was about a week ago. And so if you are feeling inclined to want to help the employees, you can contribute to that Mercy Fund. Do they make it out to Westminster Foundation? Or?
Yes.
Westminster Foundation, marked Mercy Fund. That becomes a fund so that if one of our employees who are doing such a good job of helping us, through no fault of their own, have to be out of work for a while, some of their income can be supplemented so that they can meet their expenses. And so you've done a good job, but this is a way, if any of you are so inclined and want to, is another way you can do it and help our employees, even as we work together as a whole community to deal with the various challenges that come up. So, you're a good community, you're working hard. Please take this seriously. I've had some people sort of kiddingly say they've cheated on this or that. They've gone to a dinner or something. When you do that, I'm sorry to say, you're not just risking yourself, you're risking your neighbor. And we need to pay attention to the security measures that are important. And when you've been out and done something, come back and get the tests as you do at the reception desk. Pay attention to the rules, because those rules are set up as best we can to protect this whole community and to protect you. Thank you very much for all you do. Lynn?
Just a comment on the Mercy Fund. I believe you could ask our new foundation staff member, DeLynn. I believe the checks, if you are so inclined, are made out to WRCF, but I would double check with DeLynn because the money does flow through the foundation. So you could check with her. And again, thank you for your consideration of that. Our staff will really appreciate it. And until we talk again next week, Have a very safe week. Thank you.
Mask up.